Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Dynasty, and of course, I'm here with...
Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior.
And hello everybody, my name is True Underdog and I'm happy to be here.
And we're back giving you, yet again, another podcast episode talking about, of course, Injustice 2. We got a ton of new Injustice information. It's been, I want to say, 2 weeks since our last podcast or so. Has it been 2 weeks, guys? A week and a half, maybe?
I don't keep track, man.
Roughly about 2.
I don't...
Okay, you guys count the days?
Regardless, though, there's been a ton of brand new Injustice 2 information. We got a couple new reveals, or one reveal anyway, and some leaks and all that fun stuff. So we're going to recap the entire week of Injustice 2 news in case you guys missed any of it. So with that said, let's break down our first topic, held by none other than History Behind the Warrior.
Hello again. Basically, we're going to start off with talking about all of the leaks that we've had so far, and we'll talk about, how the leaked roster now seems to be coming to fruition later on. But yeah, all of the leaks that we've seen on the list definitely do seem to be happening. The first one we've seen here is, in fact, Black Adam. Now, I'm honestly quite surprised to see Black Adam involved in this game. We've also had a little, well, I say little, we've had a rather large leak being Green Arrow, who is shockingly somehow still alive. I've made a theory video about that and how he's like from another dimension, apparently, according to the comics. Captain Cold, which I'm really surprised about, I'm not gonna lie. I guess the CW show must have definitely played a part in him being in the game. So a little bit of a shocker there. And the Joker, again, another big kind of surprise, I guess. So we've had a hint of him here and there. Again, multiple ways of how he can come back to life. It's pretty crazy, I do have to admit. There's 2 characters here who I didn't really expect to see here because they're dead. But, you know, each to their own. I'm quite happy with these leaks so far. Definitely probably would have switched out Captain Cold for someone else, but overall it's fairly okay as like what we can see of characters. What about you, Trunderdog?
Personally, I am a bit surprised that Green Arrow made it back, only because I didn't think he was that loved by the fans to make a return or to warrant a return. If he comes from a different dimension, that's okay, because the one did die, so that makes it less common for people to just come back from the grave, which seems to be happening quite a lot in the roster. Captain Cold I did expect, only because we've seen his cold gun and a lot of stuff, like in the intro and everything else, just like we saw Dr. Fate's helmet. So that didn't catch me off guard. I'm glad to know that Black Adam's coming back because he was very popular. I personally didn't like his playstyle that much. He was very keep away, very zony, and could also go in, which seemed unfair as fuck to me. He was super broken the first couple of weeks the game came out. And the Joker I don't want back at all, but only because Joker is in everything, and I see him dipping his finger in everyone's fucking punch bowl. He's in every single DC game, ever. So he's a bit overdone to me, but I know he's going to bring a lot of fans back, so I guess he's glad he's there just because everyone's going to love him. How about you, Dynasty? How you feel about it?
I'm fine with all the leaks, actually. I understand both sides to it. And obviously Black Adam, courtesy of the arena on the mobile game. It's crazy how, everything is getting leaked through the mobile game. They're still just, I don't get it. And by the way, mobile game comes out officially in May. We're in March. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, I'm cool with Black Adam returning. I'd rather have Shazam, but I guess Black Adam works with the film coming out, eventually with The Rock apparently playing the role as Black Adam. Green Arrow, thankfully, I'm glad he's back somehow in some capacity. I'm sure it's to be explained even though he's dead. But hey, I guess he's not dead. Captain Cold is also, I understand you guys don't like him. Unfortunately, I like Captain Cold because he uses a thing called ice, and Killer Frost in the first game was not the greatest ice-based character, so I want to see my boy Captain Cold do some work because I main Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat, so I want to see how that actually works out. Not to mention, Mr. Freeze is also kind of, I guess leaked as well, because on top of the Captain Cold character card, you can see where it says ease at the end of it. So yeah, that's also another confirmation Mr. Freeze is going to be inside the game. Now, we're not too sure right now if he's going to be just a premiere skin or an actual character. We've already seen how you can have 2 characters with similar traits actually be standalone characters: Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing, Supergirl and Superman. So maybe Mr. Freeze and Captain Cold can have their own unique playstyles. Not too sure yet, but I think that might be kind of overdoing it, honestly. So I'm going to say Mr. Freeze might be a premiere skin, and that's where it gets a little bit interesting because obviously all these leaks are leading up to the the roster that dates back to January, the first leak that gave us the entire roster originally, and from there I'm pretty sure it says he's like a standalone character because of like the math of like the character roster size. So not sure how that's gonna work. He might be a premier skin, he might not be. And last but not least, the Joker. I'm happy with it. You guys, we talked about this in the last podcast near the end. I'm cool with it. It's the Joker. It'd kind of be really weird if he was inside the game. And yeah, he's dead, but it's the Joker. Like, is he ever really dead? And yeah, I'm cool with it.
I just want to go on the record saying that I like Captain Cold as well. I ain't a hater of Captain Cold, only because I wanted to see like several characters from each universe. You know, not just all Batman villains, not just all, you know, Superman villains or characters. I'm glad to see more Flash characters. I want to see more Aquaman characters. That's what we're severely lacking. Anyway, that's my last input on that subject.
I want to say this too. You know how you mentioned how like we've been seeing his cold gun forever, like inside the character intros, like the trailers. They stopped doing that like within the last 2 months, I want to say, and it's insane how we're now like 2 months away from May, and we just saw Dr. Fate get revealed. And dating back to like the official announcement, the very first Easter egg or like anything you see teased is Captain Cold's cold gun, and he's still not been revealed. So it's like, I don't know. It's crazy how we're still almost, I want to say like 8-9 months since the official announcement. We've not seen these guys get revealed up until now. Even the Flash. It's like, what do you do, Another Realm? Like, stop making us rely on leaks.
Yeah, I do. I will say as well, going back on your Black Adam like thing when you said it's strange to have Black Adam and not Shazam. I'm going to say that they're gonna have Shazam as like the palette switch out thing. You know, like how the Flash has the Reverse Flash and how has John Stewart. That's going to be a thing for Black Adam. He's just going to be like a switch out with Shazam.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm going to cut you off. Yes, guys, we understand he's dead, but, you know, there's another clone in the universe.
I do like that concept, only because it means that we might get some Shazam moves for Black Adam. Like Black Adam may have some grapples or something up close if they do want to actually have a skin that's also Shazam. He has to have some moves.
Yeah, with the added move set.
Yeah, because
they can add it.
Yeah, they could, and they do have the exact same powers. It's one of those tropes again where the villain and hero are like the exact same, just their morality compass is different. But that'd be good if they added some moves for Shazam.
He could be a premier skin.
Could be. Didn't that also get leaked though, or not? I don't know. It's a subject for later on in the podcast, I suppose. We should probably move forward a little bit on this.
Yeah. Recently on the last, was it the Watchtower? What are they calling it? Watchtower podcast or something like that NRS are doing?
Yeah, the Watchtower.
Just the Watchtower. We had a little display of Harley Quinn and Wonder Woman's gameplay. And I do have to admit, I actually like the style of how Wonder Woman plays. Like, when everyone was watching the stream, everyone was being disgusted with the amount of like damage output Wonder Woman was doing. And everyone was just basically losing their shit. But I will let everyone know who didn't like stay to the very end of the podcast that they're changing a lot of the damage scaling with her. So what you saw in there probably won't be the same in like when the game finally comes out. As for my stand on Harley Quinn, I'm not initially too impressed. Harley Quinn seems to play like, well, Harley Quinn. And it's like in the first game, I've never found her style very intriguing or something flashy, no pun intended. But it's never really appealed to me. I do like her trait. I think that's a really nice touch of how she can throw out the two dogs and they go out at different times. Then it's like you can have like a high-low mix-up and you can close down space. I think that's very, very smart. But it's nothing that I haven't seen before. I think that's a good way of me putting it. How do you feel about this Dog? Because, you know, you do all the tutorials and stuff. How do you feel about these two characters?
I really like how with Wonder Woman they made it to where she doesn't need to switch stances anymore. Her trait now gives her buffs to her different attacks. So some like makes her whips stronger. Some makes her like flight ability show up. Some makes her, I think, her kicks do more damage. Just a bunch of different stuff, right? Different powers for different directions, I think, with the trait. But then someone also said it was random, that it might be just random buffs and you have to learn which one does what. That was Maximilian, I think, who I heard that from. He could be wrong, but he's typically pretty right about that kind of stuff. He analyzes things about as much as the next guy. I think Harley Quinn looks great. They didn't change too much, and Harley Quinn honestly was one of my favorite characters to actually play because she comboed so easily into like her back 3 or her forward 3, and she comboed into super very easily. She could combo after her super too, one of the few characters who could actually do that, and that made her a lot of fun. She can't do that anymore, but they gave her a better trait, thank God, because her trait was actually useless. You never used her trait if you played Harley Quinn because it was random, and it had a really long startup for the animation, so you're just begging to get hit by the opponent. So you just never did it. So now her trait's actually really good. It's like a full screen mix-up. The hyenas can go overhead, they can go mid. I'm not sure if they can go low or not, but you can tell which one it is based on, I think, like their hair or something. Like different ones go overhead, different ones go low or something, which is cool. So it's not like an unfair mix-up for the opponent, but it's pretty cool how you can send them out and then run in behind them and cool stuff like that. I think it's a nice addition since she always was good at keep away and she had good mix-ups up close. All I have to say about him without going too lengthy and taking up the entire time of the podcast. So, Dynasty, how do you feel about him?
I think both characters look a lot more solid than we first thought, honestly. I'm glad to see like they're finally polished and touched up. It's a shame because I would have loved to have used either of them inside the beta, but obviously that wasn't an option. But yeah, I loved everything that was there on display. I really can't say much other than I agree with everything you said, which sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. Her trait in the first game was really it was useless, honestly. And to see Harley Quinn's, that's what I'm talking about here. To see like the hyenas actually have like a role inside Injustice is kind of crazy because that's always been like one of her things, like in the comics and the lore. You know what I mean? So to see that actually have like a role, like hey, it can be a cool mix-up. Like that's pretty awesome. So I'm happy with both characters. Will I use either of them? I'm not too sure. Harley Quinn looks really fun to play, and with her being like, I don't know, like in Suicide Squad and like back in like, I don't know. It's weird because like 5 years ago, I would have never imagined she'd be like a mainstream like hero or like an anti-hero, like this weird like, you know what I mean? And she's like in movies and stuff now, so it's kind of cool to see Harley Quinn getting some love. So yeah, I mean maybe I'll use her as a main. Not too sure. I liked what I saw, and I'm glad that Wonder Woman does not look like a dude anymore. So hey.
Yeah. Everyone wins.
That is true. I do want to add one extra thing real quick because I forgot to mention this and I will hate myself if I don't mention it the entire podcast. One thing that was very jarring about Wonder Woman is they added this new move where she can walk forward and just tank hits. Like she can take an infinite amount of hits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I don't mind the move. I love the idea. The animation looks like complete garbage.
Horrible.
It's the stupidest thing you've ever seen, and I really hope they
She looks
change
so
that.
stiff, right?
Well, it's not just that it's stiff. They literally copy and pasted the movement from her opposite limbs, so she literally just switches stances the whole time. She doesn't have any in between. It's just like a straight transition from one pose to the next. There's no in betweens. There's no 12 principles of animation. Nothing good is happening there. It's clearly as early as possible. That needs to get fixed, and I'm sure it will. People always rip on NetherRealm for having bad animations, but in my experience, they clean it up before launch day, so hopefully that gets better. If not, that's going to be the goofiest fucking thing.
It is.
Dude, I know. I remember when I first saw that, I thought it was so weird. She was like, she had the shield in front of her face, and she was like doing some like...
She just hunched over like Quasimodo.
Yeah, some Nazi march going on here. Like, she's like, boom, 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 boom. Like, she was like, it was like a robot, dude. Like, yeah, that escalated quickly.
Hashtag in the
PewDiePie
comments,
did nothing
Nazi
wrong.
mark.
You really didn't, though. Love you, PewDiePie.
Oh, by the way, all those shaders are pretty sick as well that they're showcasing on
very
Harley
nice.
Quinn. And 25 different shaders, it seems like, per character.
That got me so
which is
excited.
Insane. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's on release of the game. They're going to keep adding throughout, which I'm looking forward to. Like, that's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, but that Watchtower stream was... No, like, just... Yeah, that if you missed the Watchtower stream, you just missed out on character breakdowns. That was pretty much it. No reveals or nothing too crazy.
Yeah, it was a very kind of, I would say, bland Watchtower, to be fair. Like, if you're not interested in those two characters, you would have been as disappointed as, well, someone who wasn't interested in it. But let's jump on to the next topic. Our thoughts on Cyborg and Dr. Fate. Obviously, Cyborg has had a somewhat reveal. We've seen him. We haven't really seen too much of his gameplay. If anything, we've only seen kind of his gameplay in the Dr. Fate trailer and like bits and pieces of a recent thing done by PlayStation called 7 Things You Need to Know About Injustice. You guys can go and find that. But it basically shows off a little bit of gameplay about him, and he looks relatively similar to his Injustice 1 counterpart. I can't really see too much that makes him like really, really different. But I feel like we have to see more to determine it, because like I said in the previous podcast, a lot can happen in a very short amount of time. Deadshot being the prime example of where he had his Slide, it seems to be replaced with like this running knee. So a lot can change and a lot can happen. Dr. Fate, I'm extremely happy about it. I'm glad that my main in the game has finally been revealed. A lot of people are extremely happy with it. His moveset looks absolutely outstanding. I'm pretty simple when it comes to design, and since I've seen here, I've gone through the entirety of the Injustice comics. I'm very used to the way he looks in this as his default costume. I know some people don't particularly like it. That's completely fine since we have the gear system. Mix things up. But outside of that, I think Dr. Fate might actually be top tier. He looks like he plays very similar to Supergirl. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see till we have more like information about it. What about you, Trunderdog? How do you feel about the Cyborg reveal and the Dr. Fate, I guess, breakdown?
I think Cyborg looks really good appearance-wise. I don't think he looked bad in the first Injustice, but Injustice 2, like, they've nailed him so well. I showed him to some of my students, and I was like, how do you feel about this Cyborg? And they're like, oh my god, looks so much better than the crappy one we're going to see in the Justice League film. Looks a lot better than that. And I'm like, yeah, he's nice and bulky,
wow,
right? Looks pretty good. As for his abilities, he looks almost the same with how he plays. I do have one minor gripe that I hope gets addressed. When you played Cyborg in Injustice 1, he had this grapple move, which is a great move, right? But it was the weirdest input. It was like down and then up back, or down and then up forward, and weird stuff like that.
Oh, that's funky.
Yeah, it was just down then up direction. There was no like quarter circle travel. You're just down then a direction, right? It was super like weird and clunky, and it felt weird. I hope they like just give it an actual command, like down back square or like down forward triangle. Just something like that makes it much easier to pull off and more consistent, because that was the weirdest thing for me. I feel like it makes sense on a stick, but it felt so damn weird on a pad to have to do those weird kind of motions.
Yeah, that does sound uncomfortable.
He still seems very keep away. He has the ground projectile. We saw him do an air projectile after he used the grapple to get away in the top left corner.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems like the same sort of cheese that he's known for. Hopefully this time they don't fuck up and give him an infinite like he had in the launch day of the first game. He could just do like low air, like ground air, ground air, ground air, and it was an infinite block string. For anyone who didn't know, you could not escape it. You just died, which is why he was actually banned from the first couple of tournaments. So that's hopefully gone. As for Dr. Fate, I think Dr. Fate looks pretty damn good. I told you a little bit in a private message conversation that I don't like how he looks exactly, but there's always gear, so I need to dial back from that and know that he can have different outfits. I just missed the golden girdle. They gave him a belt, and I was like, what is this belt? The Dr. Fate I know has a golden girdle. Respect it. Respect the girdle. And also he had the, his helmet was a bit of a weird shape too. It had like extra detail to it. And they even had like where you could see past it to his eyes, which isn't very big in the comics. In the comics, it's just like the helmet itself has like the glowing eyes, right? You can't see in it. So it's kind of cool. You can actually see his face through it a little bit, like at least his eye sockets, which allows you to do some more emotion, and his gestures can be a bit more. Not great, obviously. You can't see most of his face, but it's cool how they thought about that. It's a nice, interesting touch. I do hope he has like different stuff that will appeal more to me and look more classic, because I don't entirely like the way he looks. As for the gameplay, he seems very complicated. I dread doing a guide about him because he seems to have a lot of stuff. He has the different air projectiles, he has the teleports, he has like the triple air projectile, and he has the ability to float these things around, and they can also be projectiles, and I'm like, holy crap, he's got a lot of stuff to him. So we'll see how he plays. He seems very complicated, but a lot of fun also. How do you feel about him, Dynasty?
It's so hard to follow after both you guys literally break down every single thing there is to a character. So I'm just sitting here like, what's there to be said? Like, I feel like I don't even have any input anymore. Weren't you upset though, Underdog, that it's not a female Dr. Fate?
I was a bit sad, but then again, that was just my idea. That wasn't actually something I expected. I threw that out during the podcast, and that was it. I wasn't disappointed. I was actually surprised that he showed up at all. I was almost in disbelief when I saw like on my like YouTube thumbnail, like, oh look, Dr. Fate's been revealed. And I'm like, oh shit, let's see how he looks.
No, I think you're right though on like the whole projectile aspect. He has a ton of projectiles. I'm not sure what his trait's gonna be, but he like glows red, and then the projectile colors change to red.
Mm-hmm.
I think it enhances his magic.
I guess that would make sense. When I saw the gameplay, I was actually thinking it was more like Ermac with a mix of like Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
I
for
got.
sure. Actually, that's a good way
I
to
don't
put it,
know.
because he does have all the Martian Manhunter like floaty things on the screen. Yeah, for sure.
And then he had like the teleport with like Ermac and like I don't.
His
I don't
animations
know.
in general are Ermac-y. He has like the dainty kind of emperor feel kind of going, where he floats around like he's regal. you know?
Overall, I like the character design. I actually there's that recent image going around. I don't know if we can put on the screen right here. Bam!
Oh
Hopefully we
shit,
can.
there it is.
Yeah, what is that? This is him with like fully upgraded gear. This image just came out yesterday, courtesy of a Russian YouTube channel. Whoever's editing this, I'll throw it in there for you, by the way. Anyways,
I'm not saying it was the Russians, but it was the Russians.
go figure. It's actually like a fully ruby red version of Dr. Fate, and it looks pretty sick. So seeing some of his upgraded gear looks really awesome. I'm not sure if you guys actually saw that, but it looks really sick.
It's nice.
So yeah, he looks amazing. As for Cyborg, I'm not too sure how to feel because from what I saw, it was just like seconds of gameplay, and like I really can't get a general grasp apart from like he really does look like I guess his first Injustice 1 Cyborg, but a bit, I don't know, altered. I don't know. It's the same character essentially.
It looks like he plays the same.
I did see he had like a Superman punch type of thing towards the end of one of the gameplay clips. He's like doing like a Superman punch before he gets hit. His super move looks really sick. I'll say that. I like his super move. I don't know if you guys liked it. I like it.
I think it's okay.
I like it. I don't understand why no one else is liking it. Everybody seems to not like it.
I withhold my information on it. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I don't know. It's like I said, it's tough to follow up when you guys literally break down every single thing there is to talk about the characters.
Yeah, we pretty much covered all of the points. We're sorry about that. We'll leave you a few for the next one.
No, it's cool. I like being last. I just sit here and sound stupid every time. It's the best.
But no, I would point
that grappling hook move though. I don't know.
I'll point out some fun facts for you. Regarding the his trait, it is that red mist ability. And what it does seem to do is enhance all of his magic. We've seen him with when he floats in the air and he fires 3 consecutive projectiles. Normally when he doesn't have it on, it's blue. When he does have it on, it's red. When he pulls out the anchor sign, I think that's how it's called, that massive symbol. When he does it normally, it comes forward from his chest. But when he does it with the enhanced version, it bounces the person backwards and they bounce off another one that's behind that person. So they come forward, it kind of juggles the person in, which is something I really like. I think that's really cool. And I know, I like this trait. It looks like it's going to be very, very impressive and something that I'm very happy to see. Also, another little fun fact. Sorry, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here. Dr. Fate, with his super, I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this, but the other 3 Dr. Fates that are in the room when he's doing his super all have different headgear and body gear. So this is the little hints to the possibility of what we'll see in the game. So I just wanted to put that out there just in case no one actually picked up on it.
I honestly did not pick up on that, so I'm glad I know now.
Yeah.
I thought they just copy and pasted the character model.
Luckily not. I think they were very smart with this, luckily. Let's jump on to the next one. Fairly big one we need to talk about here. They said no microtransactions, which is a massive thumbs up in this game. I do feel like they're going to go against this at a later date when they start adding characters that you can switch out characters. Black Adam can change his appearance to Shazam for the ESL tournaments, just stuff like that. But so far from the launch of the game, they said no microtransactions. So I'm extremely pleased to hear this. It's fantastic to hear that it's
not... You want me to take over a bit here?
Yeah, go ahead, fire.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like I gotta go first at least so I don't sound so stupid every time I speak. Okay. Yeah. So there's gonna be no microtransactions. The cool thing is obviously they're introducing loot boxes, and these loot boxes obviously are gonna have pieces of gear inside of them, and the way you get these loot boxes is by using your in-game currency. Now the way you get your in-game currency is you'd imagine is by playing games online. So say you're a beast and you can pull off amazing 30 hit combos True Underdog, and you watch tutorials and you're just doing these crazy combos. For every cool combo you do, you get a certain piece amount of coins, in Mortal Kombat, you know what I mean, so many combo hits you do, you get you used to get coins, it's gonna be just like that for Injustice. You do a super move, boom, you get coins or currency. If you do a challenge, I'm gonna assume you're gonna get currency, and with that currency you can actually buy these chests. There's gonna be 5 different tiers. I believe it's bronze, silver, gold, diamond, and platinum. I think that's what it is.
I think that's right.
And those are the 5 tiers. Now, obviously, the bronze is going to give you not really that great of a chance to get a good piece of gear. The platinum being one of the best ways for you to get great gear. And they did come out and say no microtransactions to get any gear whatsoever. And the cool thing as well is say you just for some reason you're listening to this podcast and you're not getting Injustice 2 like the week or the day the game comes out. Say you get it a couple months down the road. The cool thing is like even though you've only played for like a set amount of period of time and your gear is not the best, it's gonna be kind of like skill based matchmaking to an extent. So like say you had like a level 5, I don't know, Superman. You're not gonna get paired up against a level 20 Superman who has like everything you can think of, like he has like Zod's broken neck and his like his head hanging from his suit. Like it's not gonna be like an OP versus a newbie Superman. Like it's gonna be skill based matchmaking. It's cool too because say you want to main another character, but you obviously want to play online. You can do that without like running the risk of playing against guys who are like super stacked ready on like the character you're going up against. So that's the cool thing as well. So it's gonna be skill based matchmaking to an extent. I'm pretty sure those it might vary in between time to time. But yeah, loot boxes are a thing, and like we mentioned, there's gonna be no microtransactions. But like history behind the warrior said, I think in time, like we saw from Mortal Kombat X, there's going to be some type of microtransaction. There's no way there's not gonna be. I just think they're gonna hold off on it until like the first wave of DLC comes out. Then from there it'll be like, okay, so you want to support ESL Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4. Pay $20 and you'll get like these limited pieces of gear for like a certain character, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a thing. They're also doing another thing as well. It's not listed here. Dealing with like loot and gear and stuff. They're gonna have like holiday themed gear, and holiday themed like I guess like loot boxes like you'd see like in Overwatch and stuff like that. So that's something else to look forward to. They did say it's gonna be for single player, so it's kind of a bummer. I'm hoping it's not gonna be just like towers because he kind of implied that it might be like loot based as well. So I'm thinking that's what they're gonna do. Don't hold me on that, but yeah, there's gonna be like holiday themed unlocks, hopefully with the gear system, which would be pretty cool. So you can have like a Santa themed Superman, hopefully in time.
Ho ho ho! Here comes justice.
But yeah, that's me going crazy and talking about no microtransactions and loot boxes. And yeah, I'm glad there's no microtransactions. That was my biggest concern. I'm talking for like 3 minutes straight, so I'll give the floor to True Underdog.
Alrighty, so I'm about to go on a bit of a tangent. Just forewarning that real quick.
Dun dun dun.
Do it!
Okay, so first off, I guess I have to preface it by saying that it was kind of a mistake to center the whole game around this gear that gives you abilities, since most people have already shared that fuck the upgrades and the abilities that it gives you. I just want to play an honest game of Injustice. I'm going to play the ranked mode where they don't have any abilities. I just want to look cool and have the default character, that kind of stuff. So I agree with that too. And with that in mind, since most players are going to be in that mode where they don't want to have any of the upgrades and they want to just play a straight game of Injustice, I think I wouldn't have minded if there was a microtransaction, since it would have just been cosmetic at that point. It wouldn't have given you any advantage. It wouldn't have been play to win. It would have been like pay to look good, And when done correctly, if you really trust the developers and they're honest about it, there are actually a lot of benefits to microtransactions, and don't kill me because I have a few examples here real quick. So the first example is Overwatch, right? Overwatch has a ton of microtransactions, but as a result, every DLC is free. You don't have to pay for any characters because all the money they need to actually produce those characters and market them is given through the microtransactions. So as long as you have a company that's honest and straightforward about that sort of stuff, microtransactions can actually be a benefit, since a lot of people don't even use them. A lot of people don't go for the microtransactions. Just a few people end up like spending a lot of money for a game. I have a student actually who makes thousands of dollars every day, and he's like dropped $3,000 in microtransactions just because he felt like it. So those kind of people just have tons of money. Oh, he doesn't care. He bought a car just like last week. So they do stuff like that, right? And most people don't even do the microtransactions. They just avoid it because if you're like me, you're frugal and you don't feel like spending money on something you can't actually touch, right? Something that's not tangible. That's just a me thing, but I'm not going to invest money in something that I can't actually hold in my hands most of the time. So I would not actually use that stuff. But I guess my point is that Titanfall 2 also did that. Microtransactions, yes, but all DLC was free. For Honor is also going to have free DLC in the future as a result of microtransactions. Now, For Honor is a bit of a if and there kind of example because theirs is pay to win.
Yeah, that's true.
Like For Honor really is pay to win, which is kind of bullshit. So that's the one bad example, right? But my point is, if done correctly, microtransactions might actually be the best thing for gamers, but it has to be done in the correct way. And I'm going to get hounded for that, but I have like a few examples that I think prove my point. There's a mountain that do it wrong too, a mountain of people who do it the wrong way, and it just fucks over the player. But I think if done correctly, it can be a good thing. All right.
No, that makes sense. It does make sense. I thought I'd never agree with anyone about microtransaction, but that does make sense in the long run. But in saying that, I still think it's a real fucking scumbag thing that most companies do, unless it's done right.
Oh, it certainly can be. Yeah, it can be exploited for sure.
And if it's done right, then that definitely does make sense.
But yeah, apparently, microtransactions don't exist inside of Injustice 2, and loot boxes are gonna be a thing. So get excited for all those YouTubers doing pack openings.
Oh god, that's gonna
Can't
be
wait
so
for that.
expensive.
Dynasty opens platinum pack with the thumbnail of him going ah. Million views.
Time to break out that face cam, boys.
Hell yeah.
I guess another thing we can talk about is the new touch-ups they've done to certain characters. I only found out this one because of the Dynasty. Robin's face has been changed slightly. The lighting has been done on it. He looks a lot less dark, teenage, and edgy, I guess, is what I'm going for here. But no, it's definitely an improvement. Aquaman seems to have had a massive face change. He looks completely different. He doesn't look as plastic, or like his face doesn't look like it's just been stuffed with Botox, and I'm very happy with how he looks now. But I really do wish we actually saw some more Aquaman gameplay, which leads to me believing that they're completely rehauling the character, much like the Flash. So yeah, that's my personal thoughts on those two characters. I'm looking forward to seeing them. What about you, Trender Dog?
Let's give it to Dynasty real quick this one time, and I'll go third. Go ahead, Dynasty.
Yeah, so they made the definition in like Robin's face a lot more defined, so you can actually see like his jawline and his like nose features, and like I don't know, he looks a lot better. He looks like an adult. He doesn't look like he's 12. Hopefully, whoever's editing this, I'm not sure who's edit the podcast yet, has the images so you guys can see the before and the afters. Big difference, and it might be just the lighting as well, but I'm pretty sure they just completely redid his entire face. As for Aquaman, I like it. I think before the podcast, True Underdog mentioned that like his design does not look as good in comparison to like the first game, and I agree with that completely. But I think this is, I guess, a step in the right direction. You know what I mean? I'm sure once you get like the gear on him and stuff, he won't look so generic. Yeah, I'm okay with it. And maybe you're right. Maybe they are rehauling Aquaman, which is why I've not seen any gameplay whatsoever, because he's been revealed since I want to say like last August. I want to say.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time.
We've not seen like a gameplay breakdown. Yeah. So, yeah.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and look at these appearances now myself and do some compare and contrasting. So with Robin, the biggest thing that I noticed, which is a funny change, is his mask is much smaller. It covers like his entire cheekbone initially, and now it's like much smaller. It barely covers his eye, right?
That might be a gear piece though.
Hey, listen, let me do this, all right? Everything else seems to like, because I don't see any other changes on his body. But yeah, so that all looks the same so far. His face looks a lot better. The lighting is also better though, just in general. We do see that his weapon is a different color. That's probably one of those gear pieces that actually changes your moves a little bit, which there are some of those. And I'm not sure how to feel about those because it's going to make my job a lot harder as the guy who makes the guides. I'll probably just skip it initially because I won't have the gear that gives me the different abilities and like touch-ups. Everything else just looks more defined, and Aquaman looks a lot better, which is good. I do recall a lot of people bitching about Aquaman's face. And as for the whole, we haven't seen Aquaman in a long time and this sort of topic, it does concern me that I myself forgot that a lot of the characters are in this game. Like, I completely forgot about Harambe being in this game. You know, I completely forgot. Like, I forgot that he was even a character. Like, seriously though, Gorilla Grodd, I completely forgot he was even a character because we hadn't seen him at all in like any of the trailers or like any of the showcases. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right, you can play as a fucking gorilla in this game. And it was the same with Aquaman. I was like, oh yeah, Aquaman's in this game. Anybody else remember Aquaman? He's totally in this game. So I hope they do a better job like marketing some of these characters. Maybe they'll do some small little tournaments or something in the Watchtower where they all pick different characters. Just something to keep us remembering that there's a lot to offer in this game, because so far they keep toting around the same like 6 characters and we don't get to see like all it has to offer. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm glad people look better. It's kind of amazing how NetherRealm is tackling these face changes like as they happen. Like they see a complaint, boom, like the face has changed for like everybody. We haven't seen a retouched Catwoman, but that's going to be the next thing because people kept bitching about Catwoman. I thought she looked fine, just the teeth kind of freaked me out.
Didn't bother
like her
me.
teeth in certain lighting.
She looked like Halle Berry.
Halle Berry.
Oh god.
Sure, why not? I thought she looked fine, but then again, I'm like the last person to complain, only because I've worked in the industry and I know how fucking hard it is to make organic shapes.
You love plugging that in every podcast.
I'm so sorry.
It's always like, I worked in the industry.
Hey, listen, I'm a pro former fighting game player like Darkside Phil. No, but like, I just think like, it's so hard. Like, 'cause the way you make shapes in 3D software is with polygons, which are four-sided. To take something that is a square and use it in a large number to make round surfaces and to make organic things like a face is a fucking nightmare. It's so tough. So I feel for people when they like get told that their design looks like shit, and it's like, man, it's so hard to make faces. It's one of the hardest things. You can make the entire body, and the face will take you 3 times as long as to make the entire body, and I'm not even joking. That's like the amount of work that's required to make a good face in 3D software. So that's my little soapbox. I'm gonna hop off it now. Let's move on to the next topic, I suppose.
Yeah, we've had, I guess this kind of goes back to what they were saying. We've seen a lot more gear released recently about the last few characters, some being Deadshot and Dr. Fate, and there's been some really, really nice pictures and of like stuff and gear we haven't quite seen yet, and it's looking very promising. Of course, the gear system was always going to be a very promising thing, but to actually see it properly now, you can actually... It's very impressive to see in person. Like, hearing it is a different thing. But I'm very happy that we're seeing some other stuff with the gear because, like I said, it's been a long time since we've seen a diverse amount of gear, ever since the beta. So seeing new stuff is always refreshing. What about you, Underdog? How do you feel about all of these, like, kind of crazy skins and bits and pieces of gear?
Some of the gear gets me really excited. Like, I thought Swamp Thing looked kind of bland at first. We talked about that a little bit at length in the last podcast.
Yeah.
And then I saw just like the arm gear piece, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the coolest looking arm in the entire game. He's now the best looking character, you know? So just simple stuff like that.
Holy fuck, the bark is
Oh my
different.
god. I know, right? Oh shit. Is that redwood?
It's a maple
Oh
tree.
man, it's not oak anymore. It's maple. Right? Like, I'm totally a botanist. I
mahogany.
can totally tell. Mahogany. Oh shit, we got a high class fucking Swamp Thing. But no, like, that stuff gets me excited. And I have to keep reminding myself that the default look for the characters is going to be the blandest look, because why else would you want to wear the gear? So they probably initially make the characters look like not super cool, just so every gear piece is like, oh my god, such a step up from like the original design. And I gotta keep that faith for characters that I find less impressive.
That makes sense, yeah. It's like have the expectations really low, so the gear pieces, yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome, actually, come to think of it. But yeah, I like seeing the fully decked out epic and rare gear on these characters. If you guys have no idea what we're talking about, maybe there'll be images sporadically all throughout here. The one that freaked me out the most is the Deadshot skin. You guys saw that?
It looks so
Yeah.
fucking cool.
He's all stacked like a fucking Call of Duty character.
He's like wearing like all white gear. Yeah, like he's from fucking Call of Duty or something. Like, it's insane, like futuristic and stuff. So yeah, guys, they went pretty in depth with this gear. Like, there's apparently gonna be hundreds and thousands of combinations, so I'm excited for it. And like, you know, like True Underdog mentioned, when I saw all the gear pieces for Swamp Thing, they had like 20 different, you know, pieces of what he's holding on to, and I was just like, really? Like, it's coming down to this? Like, it's gonna be that in depth, like where it's like every different type of piece of tree you can think of is gonna be an option? Like, yeah, I'm pretty stoked, honestly. The fact that they're saying that it's all in-game based too, where it's like you can only get these amazing pieces by playing the actual game and grinding it out, has me really excited. And yeah, seeing these legendary and epic characters is going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be scary though, intimidating when you play like player matches and you go against somebody who mains like Batman. He's like rocking like some crazy gear. You're going to be like,
Some
oh shit,
Hell Knight
that's obviously his
batsuit
main.
shit you never seen before.
Yeah, like... Yeah, he has like underglow or something. There's like fire behind him. Like, he has a jetpack.
And when he steps, his shoes light up.
So you're gonna know who's main too.
Yeah, his design's that metal. He's got Alfred in the background.
Jeez, I didn't mention this too. The cool thing as well is you can do like loot gambling. So
Yeah.
say like I main Batman and I get a piece for like Aquaman, and I don't use Aquaman, but it's like an epic piece. I can gamble that piece and see if I get a piece for another character that I main, which is actually pretty cool.
That's a really nice addition.
Or you can also, I think, sell pieces of gear for just currency, but that's kind of like where the gambling comes in. It's like, do you want to gamble and take the risk of not taking the currency quick sell, or do you want to, you know, run the risk and get a good piece of gear for another character? So that's another option too. So say you get like some of this awesome legendary gear for a character you don't main, you can actually have a bit of an option there what you want to do. And yeah, that's something that's really cool too, gambling. And you can steal online opponents' gear. So say you're playing against me, and I'm rocking some badass gear, and you're like, damn, I want my Batman to look like that. You go down to your player card and your match history. It's gonna have every piece of gear I have, so you can like write that down on a notepad. Like, I want this piece of gear to look like that, and boom, you can copy me. Pretty cool stuff.
Oh, okay. So you just copy. You don't actually take it from their inventory. That would have been nuts. Like you
Nah,
literally.
I wish.
I was certain that's not what you meant.
Could you imagine
But-
that, like gambling like that? Like, yo, I'm willing to bet my entire set that I'm gonna kick your ass, and then you get 13-0'd, right?
Oh,
But,
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't say it. Don't mention his name.
be careful.
If you say it 3 times in the mirror, he shows up behind you and then he just throws away every match.
Well, no, he'll block you on Twitter and you can't say anything. Yeah, but let's not go into that. Now, we do have another character reveal coming up very soon. I believe it's this Thursday. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm gonna talk about. Hopefully,
Now.
by the time this podcast is out. Yeah. So they did this weird thing where they said 3/9/2017 was the next reveal, and they completely took it off like an hour later. And as of the time of recording this on Saturday night, they've not yet updated it. So they did this in the past, and they ended up delaying the reveal a couple days later. So
Oh,
it might be
fantastic.
delayed. So yeah, that's another thing that we don't know. So yeah, it might not be on the 9th. It might be pushed back a week later, like we saw with, I think it was Swamp Thing, right? I think Swamp Thing was when that was pushed back. So
So it means we might get a double trailer again.
yes, probably.
It gets me excited, man. I'm unaware of these announcements, so like it just shows up in my feed. I'm like, oh fuck, look, we got a new Injustice character. This day just became not as shitty. Still shitty, but less so.
But yeah, who do you guys think is going to be the next character reveal? Like, I think we need Hal Jordan. We haven't seen anything about him so far, and since like we all know he's in the game, since he's in a mobile game, like I think he's going to turn up.
I mean, we kind of already saw the Scarecrow reveal. Like, they had a mobile reveal for him, right? Like, the entire mobile little showcase had, like, Scarecrow. So I was going to say Scarecrow, then I recalled that, and I was like, fuck, they kind of already revealed him. That'd be kind of cool to see him, though. He's the character I kind of want to see the most now. I'm not even that excited for him, which is kind of why I want to see him impress me. I want him to do some things that just blow my fucking mind. I'm not sure who I want to see next, though. I think I'm going to pass it on to Dynasty while I fucking think about this in my little mind palace.
I want to see Green Lantern and Green Arrow showcased on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
Good call.
I know. I've been saving that one for the end of the podcast.
Damn, I wish I could have stole that from you.
I think that'd be a pretty cool way to do it, honestly.
That's really smart, actually. That's really, really smart.
And both those guys would be pretty cool to like coincide. And then as for like, I guess not on that idea, I want to see the Flash, man. We've known about him for so long, and it's like, just show us the gameplay. As for like a character we've not seen at all though, like out there, I want to see Captain Cold. Yeah, Captain Cold.
That would be cool.
I want to see if you know, he's given the ice some justice, because Killer Frost sucked in the first game. So hopefully he does some work. But yeah, that's something I'm hoping forward to.
What killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah,
the
hopefully
Ice
it's not
Age. Carry on.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, that escalated quickly.
That is a line.
But overall, though, I guess we'll finish it on this. The leaked roster is looking more and more accurate, according to this notepad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the leaked roster is pretty much confirmed at this point, which is insane how this happened.
We're only missing a few characters. The only ones that we haven't really seen down on paper is Mr. Freeze. Let me get up the list now. I can actually look at it properly. Yeah, the Joker, Mr. Freeze, Firestorm. Yeah, Black Adam. That's it, really. Like, we don't really have that many left, to be honest. So
Okay, I want to see Firestorm. I figured it out. That's the character I want to see revealed.
it'd be interesting.
I mean, I plug my ears and I cover my eyes and go la 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 with the whole leaked roster, because like even now as you're mentioning it, I'm like omitting it from my memory because I want to be surprised. And just to hold on to the possibility that it's incorrect, I also will say Starfire, just because why not?
Nice.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair enough. But yeah, I think this pretty much wraps up the podcast. This has been a rather lengthy one, actually. Very lengthy one. But I hope everyone here has enjoyed listening to us kerfuffle and just talk rubbish. But hopefully you guys have gotten a little bit out of this. Yes, kerfuffle. I'm British. We say very strange words.
I'm always glad to learn new words.
New lerds.
God damn it. this entire like exodus has been just a huge fucking kerfuffle.
Damn right it has. Anyway, from my end, thank you to everyone who's come by this podcast. We all definitely appreciate it. Definitely give us a thumbs up and definitely share this video. The more support we have, the more encouragement we kind of get to like make these podcasts a bit more. But yeah, I will pass it over to True Underdog, and thank you guys.
All right, everybody. You've heard the spiel by now, but as always, I'm very flattered and very humbled that you listen to these videos and that you watch them for as long as you do. I know a lot of my fan base for sure prefers the longer videos. Y'all tend to be in the older age demographic, so you're typically listening to this while you're doing something else. Maybe you're at work or you're paying your taxes or something like that. So I'm glad you indulge and listen to me talk and ramble on. I'm very grateful to have the ability to actually do this stuff and get paid to do it. It's an awesome thing. I'm very grateful. So thank you so much. And like you said, make sure to leave a like and share this video around if you can, because the more support we get, the more incentive we have to keep on making them. So thanks so much. I'm going to pass it on over to Dynasty now.
Okay, so I'm not stupid. Do not roast me in the comment section. I'm sorry I went last on everything that was asked. I did not pick the order this time, boys. I'm sorry, comment
Roast them in the
section. Don't hate
comments,
me.
boys.
I don't hate me. Already? Don't roast me. Because there's always that one guy's like, man, Dynasty's gonna have zero input again. And sure enough, he did. So I'm sorry. Okay, my apologies. I'm trying here. I'll do more research. So I'm prepped to be the last one to pull out something from the rabbit out of my hat to be like, you know what? They didn't talk about this. I feel so bad when I don't put in input because you guys talk about everything. It's like, how do I follow up? But yes, I'm sorry for not having some crazy theory other than like St. Patrick's Day at the very end of the podcast. But anyways, guys, hopefully you did enjoy the podcast. I love you. Have my babies. And yeah, hashtag poison ivy nipple tassels. Bringing that one back. All right, see you guys later. Peace.